The mark of old money is that it vacations in places that look like they haven't changed in 100 years, and it prefers they don't. William Norwich.
Do old money and new money vacation in the same places? Welcome to Analyzing Finance with Nick. I've been doing this Geography of Wealth series for a while, and you guys have liked it a lot. And with summer season upon us and people starting to travel and go on vacations, I'm going to add a twist to the Geography of Wealth. And instead of talking about where people live, I'm going to talk about where people travel. And this is likely going to take multiple videos because the world is a big place. And what I mentioned by old money and new money vacation destinations, it's places where people in these classes go on a recurring basis and or own second properties there. I'm not really talking about like the one trip to a big city. And it's more like you'd go on family vacations or retreats or other types of more longer trips. And there are also places that are not as common for upper middle class and below people to visit. Or if they do visit, they often come in for a day trip and do not stay overnight. And that is where I'm going to break it down. And I'm going to start with California. And California is a state that has a lot of old money and new money vacation getaways because there's a lot of these places that are nice places to travel and visit in a very spectacular geography. They just don't have the high-paying jobs or are not within commuting distance of the high-paying jobs to be permanent residents. Like the advent of remote work might change that, but even in the current era, you're seeing a retreat back to core office communities, and these vacation destinations have not really developed into full-time living areas as hoped. But we'll start with the north and work our way down in California. And we're going to first start with the wine country. The wine country is a popular place for people to go on vacations. It's known for a mix of high-class culture and exclusivity depending on where you go. And this shows with the old and new money split within the region. The old money spots in the wine country is really Napa Valley. The old money spots in the wine country, particularly in Napa Valley, with the most notable towns really being St. Helena and Yountville. Yountville is particularly famous for having the restaurant, the French Laundry, which is known as one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive and exclusive restaurant in the United States. There are places within Napa that cater more to professional class and middle class day trippers, but St. Helena and Yountville are the places often where old money have second homes or go to the ultra 5-star exclusive resorts really within the area. And then the new money area, which is a common more San Francisco day trippers, but also is developing its own kind of second home community for more tech elites who are more recently acquired their money, is Sonoma. Doesn't have this much cachet as Napa does currently, but it has a lot of wineries that can match up in terms of quality on an absolute basis and is emerging as a popular destination for wine country getaways among the Nouveau Riche. The other popular tourist area for people in Northern California is Lake Tahoe. There really isn't that much old money in Lake Tahoe because Tahoe wasn't really developed that much prior to the end of the Second World War. They did have a Winter Olympics here in the 1960s. In fact, really the 1960 Winter Olympics in Squaw Valley was kind of the catalyst that started the development of Lake Tahoe as a popular ski destination and year-round destination because Lake Tahoe is actually pretty nice to visit in the summertime as well. And if I had to pick a place that had more older money of the areas in Lake Tahoe, it's the north side, particularly Tahoe Vista and Incline Village, Nevada, which is right across the state line. Incline Village is particularly attractive and is one of the most wealthy cities in America because it is the closest place in Lake Tahoe that is on the Nevada side, and Nevada has 0 state income tax. So a lot of people who want to live in Tahoe but want the forested areas of Nevada and are still close to all the action in Lake Tahoe and relatively close drive to San Francisco or Sacramento, do not want to pay California state tax will live in Incline Village. The other real area for new money in the Tahoe region is South Lake Tahoe, which particularly the city of South Lake Tahoe and the state line. This is known more for tourists. It's not really known for being like a high class place, but it's known as a high spending place. And what's also noteworthy about this place is it's where they have the Heavenly Ski Resort, which when you take the chairlift to the top, you can decide to ride down on one side of the mountain, which is the Nevada side, and the other side of the mountain, which is the California side. And it is a really nice ski resort. And the Marriott that's there is very nice and upscale. And it literally, you can just walk right to the main chairlift that takes you up to the top of the mountain from your hotel. It's a very fun place to go if you're into skiing, but it definitely skews more towards a new money crowd. Next, we're going to move a little further south and to the other old money enclaves on the central coast of California. The most notable really too in the northern part of the central coast is the area of by Carmel-by-the-Sea and the Spanish Bay. This is where the famous Pebble Beach golf course is. This is where you have Pacific Grove, the Del Monte Forest, Pebble Beach, Spanish Bay, Carmel-by-the-Sea, and Carmel Point. Clint Eastwood actually, I think, was once the mayor of Carmel-by-the-Sea. And it's been a Los Angeles and a San Francisco old money place for decades. You kind of go there if you want to get away from the distractions of home, but still be in a high-class luxury area. It's also too far away from the core metro areas that it becomes that's not really a viable day trip. And that's a key thing you're going to see with a lot of these old money vacation destinations. They're places with very nice geography and have been settled for a long time historically, but they are a good enough distance away from the core metro area that day trippers can't go there, or it's not reasonable for commuters to live there and drive up to the core metro area. And Carmel is a perfect example of this. Just a drive, say, from San Francisco to Monterey would take you about 3 hours, and Carmel is a little bit south of that. So it's just not viable, again, for more short distance drivers or commuting. And it also allows it to be a more understated place because they don't have to compete with new money who still needs to be close to their source of income. Another even more remote example of this is you go a little bit further to the south with Big Sur, California. Big Sur is very difficult to get to, and due to a lot of landslides, you see the problem of the Highway 1, which is the only really way in and out of Big Sur, being blocked at one point, which makes it even more difficult to get to, which makes it actually somewhat more appealing as an old money vacation destination. But Big Sur is known for these really scenic views, this very rugged, empty forest, the jagged cliffs, the California coast, and it has like this new age, hippie spiritual vibe, which actually a lot of those people were old money from the East Coast who came from California to get away from that. So it makes kind of sense that a lot of that stuff still appeals to old money today. Big Sur is also notably very expensive, and it's common for retreats. And then we go further south on the Central Coast. The other famous old money destination is Santa Barbara and Montecito within the greater Santa Barbara area. Montecito is one of the most exclusive, wealthy communities in the United States. It has one of the best steakhouses in the country and Lucky's if you've had the privilege of a chance of going there. But there's not that, other than like a shopping center with Lucky's in it, there's not really that much in terms of like commercial activity going on in Montecito. It's really just a bunch of luxury high-end estates that old money usually has as a second home. They drive up from Southern California. Successful retirees who made their money somewhere else in the world and moved to Montecito to retire. Santa Barbara also, particularly the eastern side of Santa Barbara, is also an old money enclave. They had a water moratorium in the 1970s, which effectively capped the amount of building that could be done in Santa Barbara. So it has artificially restricted the supply of homes, making it very exclusive and expensive. And also because a lot of these old money bought their homes before the moratorium, that's how they were able to get in there, where it's become a lot more difficult for new money to come in, especially, again, due to anti-development restrictions that prevent either the construction of new homes or the expansion of homes to the mansion sizes that they would want. The western side of the Santa Barbara area is a little bit less elite because it's where the University of California, Santa Barbara is. So there's more of a college student crowd. And it's where a lot of people who work to service the elites in Santa Barbara live as well. But generally, Santa Barbara is a classic old money destination place. The difference, and again, it's also about a 2-hour drive from Los Angeles and a 3-hour drive from Orange County. So if you want to commute to the places that have more high-paying job opportunities, it's not really a viable place to live. But people do make day and weekend trips to Santa Barbara, even if they're not old money. And now let's go into Southern California. You have Southern California vacation destinations are mostly new money or upper middle class or middle class destinations. Like San Diego, it doesn't have any really old or new money vacation destinations. They have a lot of old and new money places to live. And I've talked about that in previous videos, the first geography of wealth and the second geography of wealth, where I broke down where the old and new money is in various California cities. And that's the thing with a lot of these places are close enough significant economic activity that people choose to live here permanently more than go on vacation if you're in the elites. So the pure vacation focused destinations in Southern California are more limited. And let's start in Orange County, where you have two of them. Newport Coast is one of them. Newport Coast does have a lot of new money that lives there, but they also have a lot of new money style resorts, particularly Pelican Hill, which is one of the most luxurious and expensive resorts in the United States of America and is primarily attracted to new money because it's very new, it's very modern, it has certain developments. Pelican Hill is a prominent example. It's very new, it's very developed. It's like it has this Irvine Company style, like modern approach that's constantly updated. So it doesn't have like the old money charm of say some other old money vacation destinations like Carmel, but it's ultra luxurious. It's one of the best golf courses that I've ever played personally there as well. Yeah, Pelican Hill is kind of a classic new money destination resort. And then the other one really is Monarch Beach and Dana Point. You have the Waldorf there, and it just has more new money vibes. A lot of second homes are in this area. It's still theoretically commutable to LA, but it's really pushing it. So a lot of people have made their money elsewhere, either moved to Dana Point or they have second homes. It's a little bit quieter than places like Newport Beach or Huntington Beach or Irvine, which have more active permanent residents. And then the last old money place, which I forgot to mention, is Laguna Beach and Emerald Bay. Laguna Beach was kind of the first vacation colony for Southern California. People that did not get replaced by permanent residents, like Balboa Island and Balboa Peninsula also were kind of the beach vacation getaway originally for people from Pasadena and the old money from there. But over time, those places have become more permanent resident focused, and you have a lot of commercial activity that is developed in the heart of Newport, and Newport's close to like the business center of Orange County, whereas Laguna remains more small, more isolated, more remote. It's got like art colony vibe to it, which is also attractive to old money. And yeah, Laguna Beach generally is the old money place in Orange County. And then last in California, we're going to talk about is the Coachella Valley and the area by Palm Springs. It's not really an old money place necessarily. It's more of a new money place because it's relatively more affordable here to buy vacation homes, but it still has an upscale vibe during the cooler months. Like a lot of people, this place is just kind of empty in the summer when it's regularly over 100 degrees and not very hospitable to live or play golf, but there's a lot of winter homes that people buy here. And the two most new money suburbs really within the Coachella Valley are Rancho Mirage and Palm Desert. Yeah, the JW Marriott Desert Springs is kind of a popular place that people go to stay out there if they don't own a place. But for a lot of these new money people, it's more common just to have a home that you go there and own and live in the winter months if you're a retiree, or if you are somebody who works in LA or Orange County or San Diego, you go there for weekends or holidays. Easter is particularly a popular holiday for people to go visit Palm Desert. Last but not least, we have another emerging area in California for old and new money vacation destinations. and that is Greater Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz, I mentioned in the first Geography of Wealth, is becoming an emerging new money hub for people who live in Silicon Valley but still want a beach lifestyle. But it never really was an older new money hub to live, simply just because it was too far away from the job centers to be a viable full-time destination. And the amount of local career opportunities were just too low to develop a local economy that can have enough of its old money just outside of the seaside company that owns the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So as a result, the money in the area is more on vacation homes and people who come here to visit. The most popular destinations for people to come visit here are the Bay Area, particularly Silicon Valley, and Central California. We have a lot of old money farmers in the Central Valley who grow a variety of crops. And they buy homes here to get away from the oppressive heat of the summer in the Central Valley and enjoy a relaxing weekend or summers on a more cooler coastal area of the Monterey Bay. And so the new money really place for this is Santa Cruz itself, particularly Santa Cruz to the east of the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So neighborhoods such as Seabright, Twin Lakes, and the neighboring town of Capitola and Pleasure Point, which I think is part of Capitola. A lot of vacation homes are built here, or new money. It's very walkable, which makes it appealing. It's got enough stuff going on in terms of like nightlife, a local university. You have the boardwalk, of course, that it's a little busy for old money standards, and it's not really as out of the way or exclusive. And it's pretty close to the main artery that connects it to San Jose. But again, for new money who wants to be near the action and wants to have a beach house that's walkable, and it's really the only decent beach in the San Francisco Bay Area that's regularly accessible. There are some in Marin County, but they're a lot more difficult to get to, and they're more rustic and not as tourist friendly. Then Santa Cruz is really your place to go. The more old money areas where you have a lot of like quietly held and owned like upscale coastal properties, but not really much of a vacation community or day trippers around it, is a little bit to the east in Seacliff and Aptos. As definitely has a more old money vibe. This is where a lot of old money farmers from particularly the Central Valley own their vacation homes. And yeah, it's just a lot more quiet. And that basically wraps up California. But before we get to the rest of the western half of North America, which I'm going to discuss in this video, I'd like to talk about the Analyzing Finance with Nick tour. And I mention it because this is summertime and people have vacations, and why not add a Analyzing Finance with Nick meetup to your upcoming vacation? Because we're going to be doing a few in Europe in late August and early September, with our first stop in Europe being Amsterdam on August 30th. We have Zurich on September 2nd. We have Geneva on September 3rd, and Rome, Italy on September 5th. So if you are a European subscriber who lives there, or if you're an American who happens to be going on your European vacation around Labor Day, you can supplement it with an Analyzing Finance with Nick meetup. We also are going to have a meetup in Santa Cruz, which I just talked about, on August 23rd, and Seattle on July 26th. So this is going to be an action-packed summer of Analyzing Finance with Nick meetups, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the western half of North America, because California is not really the only place with old and new money vacation destinations. Let's going to start with the Pacific Northwest. Pacific Northwest is actually pretty sparse in terms of old and new money vacation destinations, as it's one of the last places to develop in North America, and it was one of the last places to be settled. And so as a result, population densities are lower, and there just hasn't been enough time for old money to accumulate. But when it comes to the Pacific Northwest, the main old money places that I found are the San Juan Islands, which are a few hours to northwest of Seattle. They kind of fit a lot of old money profile. They're close enough that if somebody really needs to get to Seattle, they can, but it's not really easily accessible by a day trip, and it's difficult to get to. You only can get to the San Juan Islands via ferry or seaplane. Like, there's no airport on there, and there's no bridges either. So that kind of adds to the aura of exclusivity. And outside of Washington State, the other real old money place in the Pacific Northwest is Sun Valley, Idaho, which has been a popular ski destination as well. That has been popular among tourists really since the late 19th century, where Rockefeller heirs were regulars there, and it has attracted a lot of old money. In terms of new money in the Pacific Northwest, you have Whistler in British Columbia, which is close enough to Vancouver that you can get there with a short drive, but it's become a very popular ski destination, and it's become a more upscale ski destination in terms of the crowd that goes there and the pricing point. Outside of BC, you also have the Coeur d'Alene Lake has become a popular new money destination. It's pretty close to Spokane, and it's been rapidly developing. A lot of California money particularly is moving here, and you have a lot of luxury houses in the region and a lot of fun water sport activities there. And so as a result, it's become a popular new money hub in the Pacific Northwest. The next place we're going to really talk about out is the Mountain West states. First, let's start with the area around Yellowstone National Park, because Yellowstone historically has been a very popular vacation destination. It's actually been pretty accessible to all classes because a lot of Americans can drive there within a few days. They have lodging really at just about every price level there, and a lot of the activities there are relatively affordable to do, such as hiking, biking, exploring the geysers, and seeing all the wildlife. It's not really a class divided tourist destination like some other places I'll eventually talk about in this series. But there are old and new money enclaves that surround Yellowstone. The old money one is Jackson Hole, particularly the town of Jackson itself, which is pretty small and has a lot of development restrictions. So you've had to get in there relatively early. And so as a result, the money that is there is older. It's very high end in terms of cost. There's not that many hotels there. So it's generally very expensive to stay in Jackson Hole. And you have a lot of things that are associated with wealth, even though it's very remote. Like there's a lot of private wealth management firms and high-end banks that have branches in a place like Jackson Hole, even though the population and the lack of population density would normally not support such infrastructure. It's nearby the Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone, which makes it attractive, and it's also a very popular ski destination. Another fun fact is Jackson Hole is where the Fed has its annual summer meeting in August, where you've had a lot of policy statements from Fed chairs and other global central bankers that have resulted in a signaling of a major monetary policy shift. And this all happens in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The new money area, which is popular, especially among the tech community increasingly and more so post-pandemic, is southwestern Montana, Gallatin County particularly, where you have Big Sky, which is this very exclusive, like members only area where a lot of new money elites have homes and participate in a lot of outdoor activities, whether it's skiing in the winter or hunting or river rafting or other mountain biking or other more warm weather outdoorsy activities in the summer. And then Bozeman, which is historically just a laid-back college town where Montana State University is, has increasingly become a more new money destination, especially as they're offering direct flights to places such as San Jose, Orange County, Los Angeles, and other new money enclaves on the West Coast. And so you're starting to see the construction of a lot of McMansions in the Bozeman area, and it's become a lot more upscale of a city than it was 10 years ago. Outside of Montana, the other popular places for new money is, first of all, in Greater Calgary, you have Banff. I was just in Banff in late May and early June and had a fan meetup in Calgary. And yeah, it's a beautiful place. You have Lake Louise and the famous Fairmont Hotel on the coast of Lake Louise, which is a very popular, like, old money type vacation place. Banff is really small, and due to conservation laws, it's very restricted in its development. And so you don't really see a lot of these giant luxury apartment towers you'd see in more new money vacation places. It's a lot more laid back. It's kind of like the Canadian version of Jackson in a lot of ways. Canmore is emerging as a potential new money hub, but it's not there yet because it's still pretty accessible to middle class and upper middle class travelers. Outside of Alberta, we have one new money place in Utah. However, the rest of the new money places in the Southwest are predominantly in Colorado. And there's not really that much old money in Utah from a tourist perspective, but Park City has emerged as a new money place for vacation homes and second homes. It's become popular again with the elites in California, as well as the successful business owners and newer money emerging in Greater Salt Lake. They have a famous ski resort there. This is where the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics took place, a lot of it. And it has a lot of restrictions to development, which is limiting its size and making it more. I've been to Park City, but only in the summertime. And I thought it was a very nice place and it had a lot of new money vibes and similar shops and infrastructure and other things you would expect in a new money enclave. And you have the addition with the benefits of it being near one of America's better ski resorts. And it's still relatively accessible. It's 30 minutes from Salt Lake City and 30 minutes from the Salt Lake Airport. And so it's close enough to things that are going on that make it appealing to newer money. And now we're going to talk about Colorado, which has a mix of old and new money in terms of ski resorts. The old money is really in the Pitkin County area. It's Aspen especially is famous for old money. You have think tanks there such as the Aspen Institute. And this is the one that's been the most persistent and had the longest period of time of elites going skiing there and living there of any of the luxury ski destinations in Colorado. And as Aspen has grown, Snowmass Village, which is right next to it, has started to become integrated into the more old money community of Greater Aspen. And then with new money, there's really two main areas. You have Vail, which is noteworthy because it's kind of like the first master planned ski resort community from the scratch in Colorado, and a lot of it's run by a publicly traded company, Vail Resorts. And it's a lot of people like to think they're old money there, but it's a very new money place. It really wasn't anything there prior to the 1970s. And Beaver Creek is also a new money place as well that is similarly developed mostly post-World War II. And it's very upscale like other new money enclaves, but it doesn't have the same exclusivity and long history of Aspen. And Beaver Creek and Vail are also a lot more easily accessible to Denver because they are connected by the Interstate 70. Whereas at Aspen, you either need to fly into a really tiny airport and connect through Denver, or you're going to have a much longer and more difficult drive. So that is kind of the difference as well. Again, old money places tend to be more out of the way and harder to get to the core metro area, but still have the geography and the tradition of people going there, whereas new money places are luxurious, arguably even more luxurious than a lot of the old money places, but they generally are more accessible, both in terms of who can buy in and just getting there physically. And as we move south, there's also one old money place in New Mexico, which is Santa Fe, which has been a popular art colony. That's another trend with old money vacation destinations. A lot of them are going to be art colonies, because the old money tends to be more interested in fine art. And second, it's been a popular place for old money from the East, particularly New York, to go to over the years. Yeah, there's a lot of money, particularly from New York, that has moved to Santa Fe, and more recently, Texas, particularly old Texas money with more left of center politics who are just tired of the political culture of their home state. They're moving to places like Santa Fe, New Mexico. If I had to describe Santa Fe in one sentence based on my experiences there, it's essentially Laguna Beach, California, but in the desert. Yeah, it comes off as this very progressive place, but at the same time, it's very exclusive and very environmentally sensitive, and it's also got a very old tradition. In fact, the oldest Catholic church in the continental United States is here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And then the new money place really in the desert Southwest, which I talked about in previous Geography of Wealth, is Scottsdale, Arizona. It's become a new money place for residents on a permanent basis in the greater Phoenix area, but it's also a popular old money vacation destination. There's a lot of high-end golf courses here, particularly TPC Scottsdale, but there are others. And there's a lot of very high-end like JW Marriott, the Phoenician, the Westin Gainey Ranch, etc., that are very popular upscale hotel options. Downtown Scottsdale has become a popular new money nightlife place, and they have the high-end Fashion Square Mall there, and which kind of caters to that crowd. And yeah, it's an enclave of wealth, and it's a popular vacation getaway destination from people from colder states, particularly Chicagoland, and also from California in the winter to play golf and enjoy 70 degrees without a cloud in the sky. There was a reason why I picked the Scottsdale meetup to be in February and not in August. And so Scottsdale is kind of the new money desert place for vacationers who in the Southwest United States. And that really is going to wrap up this geography of wealth in the Western United States. I mean, in terms of vacation destinations, there are too many of them in the world to do them in a single video. So I focused this one on greater Western North America in terms of the U.S. and Canada in terms of their old money and new money vacation destinations. However, what region would you like me to do next? I'm considering whether to be Florida, Hawaii, or the Caribbean. Let me know and with your vote in the comments, and I will release that one next. And if you want to get to the point that you regularly vacation at these old or new money, feel free to reach out to me. I do specialized consulting and also wealth management that often helps people with their goals to eventually become old and new money themselves. So if this sounds like something interesting to you, schedule a consultation with me, and I look forward to talking to you. Enjoy your summers, and hopefully you have great vacation plans.